All right, what's going on, Laker fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Little post-game show action, talking about the Lakers. Really not a close game the entire way. I don't know why people are trying to make it sound like that game was closer than it was. It was not very close. Kings all over the Lakers, 125-110. Got a lot to talk about. Got some thoughts. Got some reaction. Lakers go back to their old ways, unfortunately. What are the old ways? The old ways are pretty simple. The old ways are giving up 38 points in the first quarter, being down by double digits, down, what were they down? 13 at halftime, giving up 72, I want to say, in the first half, and then still giving up 32 points in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, they cut it down to 21, but the game was already over. So it is kind of funny to me that anybody that was trying to make it sound like this was a closer game and, oh my gosh, look at the Lakers' effort in the fourth quarter. You're down 20 plus. It didn't really sound like the smart strategy for me to see if the Lakers can try to, make a run there towards the end. And I get it. Maybe you're just there's things that you can learn in a game. I get all that. I just think with the Lakers and LeBron and Anthony Davis playing in a back-to-back, that didn't make all that much sense to me. So the final score was 125-110. At some points, what was it? Was that the worst differential? Yeah, at one point down 26. Cut it down, try to make it interesting in the fourth quarter. But at least for me, I never thought this was going to be a game. I didn't think no matter what the Lakers did, they're going to eventually win the game, at least going into that fourth quarter. So a lot to talk about there. I'll spend plenty of time talking about Anthony Davis tonight. I'll spend plenty of time talking about the Lakers. They had 20, is that the right number? 23 turnovers tonight. 23 turnovers for the Lakers. Just sloppy basketball, digging yourself a hole. Sacramento coming out, punching you first. The Lakers really not looking like they have all that much interest in a lot of stretches of this game. And Sacramento serving them. Sacramento is actually a perfect example. And these last couple games, I've tried cautioning, like, okay, well, let's see what happens when they're not playing Portland or they're not playing the Memphis Grizzlies. Let's see what happens when they actually play a team that looks like they know what they're doing. They got a couple real players in De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Even the Suns game, I don't know how sold people are on the Phoenix Suns yet. I think that's still kind of a project that's trying to be fixed and figured out. And on top of that, Devin Booker wasn't even in that game. So that was kind of a tough one to gauge as well. And Phoenix served it to the Lake Show, so we'll spend some time talking about it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. And I'm going to get into all these comments here just so you guys know. I'll do my best to get to the comments. If you do leave a super chat, then I will 100% read it. So don't feel obligated, but if you do it, I will read it. Okay, let's see a couple of these comments here, and then I'm going to start getting into everything. We've got blown out by the Rockets, Orlando, and now the Kings in the first 12 games of the season. That's kind of discouraging. I want to see actually here, because just off the top of my head, I was better with this early on in the season, but now that we're playing more and more games, it's a little bit more difficult to remember, obviously, every game. But I do want to see something from the Lakers schedule, because if you guys remember yesterday when I was doing the post-game show, I was talking about it was the only blowout the Lakers have had for themselves. Let me look here. They lost pretty handily to the Denver Nuggets. They lost that game, like you mentioned, to the Orlando Magic by 19. They lost the game to the Rockets. We know how ugly that was. And then here's another game against the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, you're right about that. Yes, 6 losses. You could say 4 of those losses, if I'm correct here, are all double digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those losses, double digits, which, by the way, kind of tracks with a team that also falls behind as much as the Lakers do early on. That's not going to do anybody any good by falling behind the way the Lakers do. So that's certainly a little bit frustrating right there. And I think, the other question is the Sacramento Kings. Listen, I don't think the Sacramento Kings are going to represent the Western Conference when the dust settles. I don't think they're going to be in the NBA Finals. but they're a good team. They're definitely a team that you could certainly tell is going to be in the mix. They're going to give a lot of teams headaches, and especially the Lakers coming off a back-to-back with how much they run, how confident they are in their own game. That's going to be a challenge. But Francis, that's a good observation that there's a handful of blowout losses so far. Safe to say Lakers won't be winning games on back-to-back nights. Well, I don't know if your big man shows up. Maybe you got a chance, but if he does nothing, and when I say nothing, I want to spend my own time on AD, so I'm going to do that, but that certainly doesn't help. Bargain Shopper, thank you for being a part of the show as always. First L at home. You're right. That is their first loss at home. See one thing here. Just looking at the Lakers schedule. Yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately when you look at the Lakers, it is their first loss at home, and I just want to see what their road record is right now. 1-5 on the road, 5-1 at home. I don't like that, by the way. I want a little bit more balance. You want them to be more competitive on the road. Okay, let's see what else we got here. And we were just celebrating a few hours ago. Yes, you're exactly right there. Kings are good. I spent some time in the pregame show today, and maybe I was really discrediting the Sacramento Kings, but I wasn't discrediting them about beating the Lakers tonight. I was discrediting them is because I just don't think I'm not picking the Kings to come out of the Western Conference. So I guess I'm just saying that as a true contender, I'm not putting them in as a true contender. But they demolished the Lakers tonight, and ultimately at the end of the day, all you can gauge the Lakers off of is the teams that they've played. Sacramento's beat them twice. Lakers actually looked better in Sacramento than they did tonight. If the Lakers didn't get themselves in a 25 hole in the third quarter, maybe the comeback would have worked. True, but here's the problem. They got themselves in that 25-point hole. And that's something that the Lakers have done way too much so far this year, right? Digging themselves out of holes. I was listening to the ESPN broadcast tonight. Doc Rivers said something to the effect, he's like, the Lakers should be down by a lot more. He was talking about it at halftime, I think it was. And look at them. They're just hanging around. Wilbon said something similar. They're just hanging around. This is what they've done all season long. They find ways to stay in games, and then they come back in the end and win. But that's not a winning recipe. I don't think there's a good team out there that's saying to themselves, hey, let's fall behind by 10, 12, 14 points, but we're good enough to come back. That's not going to stack you too many W's. It's just not. I think everybody understands. I think everybody knows that. So that's not something that we can do. All the AD stuff, I'm not going to touch yet because I'm going to do AD on my own here, and we could try to figure out Anthony Davis together because I cannot figure out Anthony Davis. I can't. A lot of AD stuff, as there should be. Timothy Perry, it was stupid to play them. The game was over. That's why I got confused there towards the end, listening to the broadcast. Lakers making a run, this, that. I'm like, what are we talking about? What? Okay, I understand they're cutting it to single digits. They've shown nothing all game that this is going to be a game, and they still ended up losing by 15 points. And as part of that process, LeBron had to play 35. AD had to play 35. 35 minutes for Anthony Davis. Okay, I don't think I could take it any longer. Let me go where I really want to go. So, how do we do this? Where do I start here on Anthony Davis? It's funny. My radio show I was doing this morning, I swear on everything. Before the show started, I started talking about how do we underappreciate what Anthony Davis brings to the table every night? And the reason why I was saying that is because AD had 6 blocks last night, 6 of them. And I'm doing the post-game show here, and I'm talking about 7 guys scoring in double figures. And, wow, look at what all these other guys were doing. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, you had a lot of guys that were contributing. Fantastic, awesome, great. And I'm like, damn, do I just keep brushing over that AD had 6 block shots? The guy had 6 block shots. That's incredible defense. I think he averages the highest as far as blocks so far this year. The way that the dude controls the other side of the hoop is incredible, and we just don't talk enough about players that are unbelievable on defense. We talk about players that are unbelievable on offense. Luka is an incredible offensive player. Jokic, incredible offensive player. We don't talk about their deficiencies on defense the way we talk about their strengths on offense. So my point this morning was more along the lines of, do we underappreciate him sometimes? And we went back and forth, had a full conversation. Okay, well, this is what AD has done since he's been here. Has he lived up to the expectations? And I think when the dust settles, what you say about Anthony Davis is the dude is not a number one, as in he's not your franchise player. I'm going to go win an NBA championship built around him. Now, what you can say is, okay, I got LeBron James. He's obviously the franchise player. AD is an unbelievable, incredible number two. And for those who want to make the argument that no, he can be a number one, these are the types of nights that I think you can have bad nights. Nobody's saying don't have a bad night. He only took 9 shots, and a few of those shots came in the fourth quarter, and I think they came at a time where you felt like the game was over. He had 9 points and 9 rebounds. He got to the free throw line 3 times, and like I said, he only had 9 shot attempts. And some of those came late. Like some of this, I don't even think tells the full story because they made a little bit of a run in that fourth quarter, outscoring the Sacramento Kings by 9. But what's the movie I said last time? I said it was a fugazi. The fourth quarter was a fugazi. Lakers were not in this game. They were not in this game. Fugazi is Donnie Brasco. It's when Johnny Depp, Al Pacino comes with the diamonds. Johnny Depp takes a look at them, and says, it's a fugazi. Pacino's like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, they're not real. The fourth quarter was not real for the Lakers. It was a fugazi. AD, let me compare some numbers to you guys here real quick. Okay? Let me show you the two of these here real quick. Yeah, let's share the screen because I think we could look at that frustration together. All right. Let me share my screen here real quick. What am I looking for? All right, there's the box score. Okay. AD's stat line. 9 points, 9 rebounds. He only took 3 free throws. He took 9 shots. Okay, what about the other dude on the other side? Domantas Sabonis took 19 shots, had 16 rebounds, had 7 assists, and dropped 29 on Anthony Davis? Wait a minute. So Sabonis was more aggressive, kind of pushed around AD at times. Took 10 more shot attempts than Anthony Davis. Had 16 boards and 7 dimes on top of that to AD's 9 and 9. You see, Laker fans, it's games like this that you say it's what takes away Anthony Davis from being that superstar player. Can't put him in these conversations because of games like this. Listen, I'd rather have AD shoot 3 for 20. I'd rather have Anthony Davis sitting on the sidelines telling Darvin Ham, give me the damn ball. I'm going to stop setting these screens and getting the hell out of the way, or stop having me set a screen with Austin Reeves or one of these players. I'm the focal point, not these guys. That's the difference, I think, between Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid. Anthony Davis and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anthony Davis and Nikola Jokic. I mean, hell, to have what he had. All right, let me see if I could hear some of this. AD's on right now. Talking about turnovers. Talking about how he had 5 turnovers himself, 4 or 5 or whatever that total was. Let me get one more question. I want to hear one more from him. Let's see what he says. Said just played bad. Missed shots. Played like shit tonight. It's just that simple. Okay. So we've had these runs with Anthony Davis before. We've had these this dialogue with Anthony Davis before. This has happened plenty of times. This is nothing new. This is nothing new, right? We've had moments like this. What we all try to figure out is, why do we have moments like this? What's the reason why moments like this are happening? Why is Anthony Davis, who's a player that's this great and this gifted, why does he go into a corner and decide, I don't want anything to do with tonight's game? That's the piece to me that I don't understand. That's the piece that Domantas Sabonis is a very, very good player. He's a nice player. He's an all-NBA player. So Sabonis is doing some great things. Give him all the credit in the world. But is Sabonis supposed to dominate Anthony Davis as if he's a backup center? Is he? You guys remember? No, I use Jackson Hayes. If Jackson Hayes had 9 and 9, I'd say, okay, it's Jackson Hayes. What the hell do you want from him? If back in the days, Wenyen Gabriel had 9 and 9, you'd be like, yeah, it's Wenyen Gabriel. You can't be the player of this talent, a player of this caliber, against a good playoff team and just completely not show up. He doesn't look interested. He looked like he just wasn't there mentally. Now, listen, part of me thought maybe he has some type of injury going on. Maybe that issue that he had with that spasm, whatever the case, maybe it flared up. I saw a tweet from Dave McMenamin. Let me see if I could find it. But Dave had said something during the game that I'm like, okay, well, that's justifiable. Maybe it's something like that. And you're almost kind of saying to yourself, that's probably the only way that you can justify it. Dave McMenamin said that AD is laboring a bit out there. Could have tweaked the adductor injury that caused him to miss time last week. You're almost thinking in your head, well, maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the excuse. At least in that initial tweet that I was, or the initial interview that I was listening with AD, they didn't sound like that. It's not like he was saying, hey, I got an issue. That was the problem. I couldn't be myself. I couldn't be 100%. But I just go back to that matchup, and I know there are plenty of reasons why you lose a basketball game. You commit 23 turnovers, you're not going to win many games. You're just not. You play that poor of defense, you're not going to win that many games. You give up 38, 34, 32 points in the first 3 quarters, you're not going to win many games. There's plenty of reasons why the Lakers did not win tonight's game. But I don't think there's anything to sugarcoat. When your best player has that poor of a performance, that bad of a performance, you're not beating a good quality playoff team like the Sacramento Kings. You're just not going to. Let me see if I could get one more answer here. 15 years ago, tougher, but the way would score in bunches, the way the game is much more fast paced. I think it's just talking about how Sacramento how they really couldn't stop the Sacramento Kings. So that's a little bit of a rant there. I mean, nothing too crazy, but it's very, very, very confusing to me how somebody who's this skilled, I literally 10, 12 hours ago, I was talking about it on the radio saying, I think he's underappreciated. I don't think we appreciate what this dude brings to the table every single night. Guy can have nights where he has 6 block shots and drop 30 and 15, and it's no problem. And you know what's going to happen is next game is going to be up at Portland coming up on Friday, and I guarantee you AD is going to be great. I guarantee he's going to have 30 and 12 and 3 block shots, and we're going to be on here on Friday night talking about, well, AD had another great game. You have bad games, but for me, it didn't even feel like he came to work tonight. It didn't feel like he was prepared to come to work tonight. Go on the other side of it. Bron was questionable the last 2 games. Bron played tonight. He's about to turn 39, 21st season. We're all watching his minutes and saying, okay, how many minutes can he go, this and that. Bron had 28 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds and 4 steals, 6 turnovers as well on a back-to-back, and did everything he can. Can I say the same thing for Anthony Davis? I can't. I cannot tell you that this man was ready to go tonight, and he was going to do whatever he could to keep the Lakers in the game. I didn't see that at all. I don't think that happened, and that's disappointing because I think a lot of Laker fans sit here and start kind of questioning and wondering, or basically just saying to themselves, like, "We again." That's the thing with AD. I think a lot of times it's not like a surprise or a shock anymore. It's just, again, are we doing this again? Is this really what's happening again? And the answer is yes. Um, AD got straight punked tonight. Basically, my 10 minutes of talking about Anthony Davis. See if I get another one in here. All right, leave it alone. Um, Basically, I talked for 10 minutes and I could have just said what Marcus said. AD got straight punked tonight. Got straight punked tonight. Here's an interesting one. I generally cannot tell if we are a good team on paper that is underperforming or if we just aren't a very well put together team. I think they got a good team. I think they have a team that's put together well. I really do. I feel like they got a little bit of everything. They got size, they got length. They have your two stars. You got other guys that you can rely on, like Rui and Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. I think they got players. I think they have a good team. And they weren't ready tonight. Maybe that's the back to back. Again, the Anthony Davis thing is the one that's going to stick out to me the most. And it's going to stick out to me the most because it's just so perplexing that somebody that good could be that quiet in a game where the Lakers need him. And I go back to it. If you're not having a good game, that's all right. But to go out quietly like that, that's the part that's the most frustrating. All right, let's see what else we got. Bro, what's up with AD? Trying to figure it out. AD dribbles too damn much. AD dribbles too damn much and turns the ball over. Yeah, that happens too. Sloppy freaking basketball. You're not lying. Yeah, we got. I mean, basically everybody on here is just kind of giving their own frustration about Anthony Davis. Agreed, Sliwa. AD. So given AD is not number one and LeBron shouldn't be a number one. So we need another alpha. I'm not sure Zach LaVine is someone who can step up. Look, Anthony Davis is an unbelievable basketball player. He's just not a number one. Bron is still playing at a number one level, but the whole purpose of this season was to have all this depth and everybody else delivers. I just was not crazy about this right here. No energy from AD, and that has a lot to do with why the Lakers got the L. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what else. Okay. On the plus side, D'Lo and Reddish played great. I didn't even really look at their numbers. I know D'Lo was balling. 28 for D'Lo tonight. Damn, that's a nice night. 5 assists, 5 rebounds. I will say this. I'm not trying to hate on D'Lo. I'm really not. But the Lakers were down the entire game. That I think sometimes when some of that stuff is happening, when some of that stuff is happening when the game's not close, I don't value the stats as much. I don't want to take anything away from him, but even Bron's numbers, right? It's tough to. I'm talking more about Bron when I'm complimenting him because I'm saying, well, Bron brought it. Where's AD? So that's what I'm referring more to. What did Cam end up with? 16 points, 5 steals for Cam Reddish. He's doing a nice job for the Lakers. He's doing everything that he can do. All right, let's see. AD with single digit offense and 23rd turnovers for a team, you will always lose that game. AR, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Very, very nice of you. I greatly appreciate that. You're right. Those are the two stats that you need. 23 turnovers for the Lakers, and AD does not get into double digits in scoring. Doesn't get it in rebounds as well, something to keep in mind, but does not get into double digits in scoring. You're not winning that game. You're definitely not winning that game. AR, thank you for the super, buddy. You sent it super. It's getting red. So just keep that in mind. Francis, I went yours too quick. Thank you for the super as well. I greatly appreciate it as well. All right, let's see what we got here. 23 turnovers, the whole damn thing. Everybody's mad at coach. Everybody's now mad at AD's contract. I'm gonna go back to what I said. I'm not trying to take credit away, Joseph, from D'Lo, but I think any stats when you're down 20 for most of the night or 15 most of the night, I can't look at it the same way as I can when you drop those same numbers in a game that was close at the end and you end up winning that game, or it's on the road, or whatever the case is. 28 is 28. I'm gonna give the man his credit. But at the same time, I hope you know what I'm talking about when I say that. The Lakers rise and fall based on AD's performance. No question about it. By the way, not a coincidence here. 4 years for the Lakers with Anthony Davis is the 5th year. 2 years he's healthy, you win an NBA championship, you make to the Western Conference Finals. 2 years he's not healthy. What do you think happens? Lakers don't make the playoffs, or they're eliminated in the first round against Phoenix when he went out. All right. Joseph thinks I just hate on D'Angelo Russell. Okay. I beg to differ. All right. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Alan, just wondering, naturally, you're doing the pregame at the stadium, but how are you getting home so fast to do the postgame? So I don't stay for the whole game. Just kind of depends the flow of the game. Usually I'll take off around halftime or so. And it's actually also a lot easier to follow the game when you're watching on TV. I get obviously set up for this, so that's how I typically do it. Now, if there's some games that I am going to stay for the whole thing, which could very easily happen, I might try to broadcast live from there, or I'll just come a little bit later and broadcast after that. Or as Jim said, I have a helicopter back and forth the helicopter. Okay, couple things. If you guys want to throw in some more comments, feel free to throw those in. But a couple more things that I want to do here real quick. You guys are going to help me pick my next pick here for Underdog Fantasy. So I've mentioned that this channel is I got a partnership with Underdog Fantasy. And in every one of these post-game shows, I'm going to shout out Underdog Fantasy. I'm going to promote that you can use a code HoopsLA if you want to get a $100 deposit match. Let me tell you guys what a $100 deposit match is. $100 deposit match basically means if you put $100 in, go look at your account. If you use my code HoopsLA, you got $200. So you got $200 to play with, even though you put 100. Or if you put $50 in, then use that code, use that promo code, and you have $100. So however you want to do it, whatever you're most comfortable with, you got to just use that promo code HoopsLA, and you get that deposit match. If you're not familiar with daily fantasy sports, Underdog Fantasy is so easy to use. So this is what I do, and I'll tell you guys exactly how I play. This is just specific to what I typically do. I play the pick'ems. Pick'ems is what I play. So if you come here, you hit pick'ems. I hit NBA because you guys know I'm an NBA guy. I go to pregame, as in games that are coming up. And I'm going to, you could really just pick in any of the games. There's some games going on tomorrow. So that's going to be naturally what I'm going to find. I got all these different players. You could do specific teams. Let's just do this one because you got Brooklyn and you got Miami going at it. Mikal Bridges, nice player at Miami, 23.5 points. This one seems easy to me. I'm going to go lower. Miami's got a good defense. All I got to do is pick 2 of these. Make 2 picks. Bet whatever you want. Use the promo code HoopsLA, and you get that $100 deposit match. Let's do Jimmy Butler, 23.5 points. Do I see Jimmy Butler higher or lower than 23.5 points? Can I get a little help on this one? Higher or lower than 23.5 points? Higher or lower? First person that just tells me what to do, I'm going to go with that. Higher or lower than 23.5 points? You say higher, I'm going to go higher with you. You say lower, I'm going to go lower with you. I don't really care. This one's completely up to you guys. You guys make the call on this one, and I'm going to roll with it. It's funny, on some of the lines, you feel like Domantas Sabonis. I'm like, is this guy going to get, I think the line was 17.5, 18.5, whatever it was. Is he going to get Is he really going to get that much? I just ended up deciding, okay, I'm going to go lower. Well, of course, he got higher than that. I got somebody that told me go lower. I'm going lower. Bet $10. Put it here. 2 correct pays up to $30. So I just need Mikal Bridges to go lower. I need Jimmy Butler to go higher. Hit submit. My picks are in. I confirm it, and I'm all said and done. Use the code HoopsLA. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for being such a great partner of the channel. I'm very appreciative of them. Okay, let's get back to it here. Next game for the Lakers. Thank you, by the way. Appreciate you guys putting in your input there. Let me see here. Banners. Okay. I'm trying to do the last. I want to do the next game coming up against the Blazers. So I kind of want to wrap things up here. I think right now, this is what I would say to the Lakers. They're 6-6. That's what their record says. They are a 500 team by definition, but they're also an average team by how they play. And it was great seeing them just stomp Memphis yesterday. Awesome. Fantastic. It was great seeing them get a win against Portland without LeBron. It was great seeing them come back against the Phoenix Suns. They won, 3 games in a row there. But playing good competition is also going to tell you just how good you are. Sacramento's a good team, and they hand it to the Lakers tonight. You're at Portland on Friday. I think that's another in-season tournament game. Look, Portland played well against you. They got a ton of injuries. They don't have that much talent. They're obviously rebuilding. I don't know, looking, I guess, trying to figure out what players will be available in that game. Let's see if I could actually check. Portland had a ton of injuries against the Lakers. Let's see if any of those guys are coming back or if there's any answers. So Brogdon didn't play today. Robert Williams, we know, is out. Scoot's going to be out for a couple weeks. Anthony Simons. So most of their guys looks like it's going to be out. Maybe Malcolm Brogdon could potentially play. They're not a good team record-wise. They're 3-8. They got the second worst record in the Western Conference. They have lost 5 games in a row. It's always tough to go up to Portland, but at the same time, Lakers got to go handle business and see if they could kind of continue to get on track. You got Houston after that, which is going to be a tough game. So I think the Lakers still a work in progress, still got a long way to go. Frustrating nights like tonight with Anthony Davis doing what he's doing. They definitely took a step back, and this was good competition, and good competition gave you an idea of how you play against good competition. So I think for now, we'll continue to try to figure out what the Lakers are, but I think we're still figuring out what the heck the Lakers are. Arthur Johnson, thank you for the super. AR-15 got exposed in the Olympics. True believe he had the yips. It's in his head. Ain't been the same. I don't know. I thought they were actually using him. They were using him a lot during that FIBA World Cup. And I don't know if it has anything to do with FIBA or it has to do with teams' game plan on players that are having success. They spend a lot of time game planning on them. And I think that has a lot to do with what the other teams around the league are doing now with Austin Reeves. I mean, listen, since he came off the bench, Reeves for 3 straight games was nice. Austin Reeves had really good stats. I put out whatever the stats were. I grabbed it off StatMuse, but I put it out before the game started. Tonight, 4 of 10. Did have 11 rebounds and 8 assists. I'll take that. But too many turnovers. Bron had 6. AR had 4. Anthony Davis had 5 turnovers. It was actually D'Lo had some of the lowest turnovers with just 2 turnovers. I take that back. D'Lo did have a really nice game. 28, 5, and 5. I'll take that any night. But for the entire team as a whole, not a good night for the Lakers. Okay, Laker fans, I think that is all that we have. Do not light the beam. What the hell's going on here? There's no light in the beam. Well, I mean, technically, if you're in Sacramento, you kind of do whatever you want. You won the game, so I can't say anything about that. Our next broadcast, I'm going to do another one of these Friday after the Lakers take on the Portland Trailblazers. So that game, I think tip-off's at 7, one of those just regular tip-offs that the Lakers have. Double check here. We go Portland is 7 o'clock. That's an in-season tournament game. So we'll see how that goes. But ultimately for the Lake Show, not a good night. See if they can rebound coming up on Friday against the Portland Trailblazers. Laker fans, appreciate you spending 35 minutes with me here. Thank you very much for doing so. Please subscribe to the channel. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'll get back with you guys coming up on Friday. Thanks, Laker fans. Appreciate it.